Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. Last June, I did a video when Biden was in the Rose Garden and he was calling on the ATF and the Department of Justice to go after rogue gun dealers. He said it was a zero tolerance policy he was instilling, and since then he has revoked the licenses, the livelihoods of a lot of FFLs to the tune of a 500% increase on his watch. And people are having their licenses revoked based off of little clerical errors that in the past would be a warning or a correction. Now people are losing their livelihoods over it. And a group of 33 members of Congress have sent a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland and the director of the ATF, although they sent this on the 27th of June, so it was then the acting director, Restiano. It is now the full-time director, Steve Dettelbach, the permanent director, until he's fired. But here's the letter on screen. Dear Attorney General Garland and Acting Director Restiano, as the Biden-Harris administration is undoubtedly aware, the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution unequivocally states, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Yet, at every turn, this administration appears to be weaponizing its executive powers to infringe upon this constitutionally protected right. Under 18 U.S.C. 923, Congress explicitly requires that the Attorney General shall approve any application submitted for a license to sell firearms provided certain criteria are met. Among other criteria, an applicant must not have willfully violated the law, must not have willfully failed to disclose any material information required, and did not make any false statements as to any material fact in connection with his application. Under the plain language of the statute, once an applicant satisfies the statutory criteria, the Attorney General must approve the application within 60 days. This statute is not discretionary. The FFL licensing is a shall issue. Under a different subsection, that same statute, 18 U.S.C. 923 E-Echo states that only after notice and an opportunity for a hearing may the Attorney General revoke a federal firearms license, only if, among other reasons, the holder of such license has willfully violated applicable law. On June 22, 2021, the Biden-Harris administration issued a fact sheet entitled Biden-Harris Administration Announces Comprehensive Strategy to Prevent and Respond to Gun Crime and Ensure Public Safety, announcing a new policy to revoke firearms licenses. Under this fact sheet, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is empowered to revoke a dealer's license the first time they violate federal law by willfully engaging in certain behavior, including falsifying records, such as a firearms transaction form. Yet, it has recently come to our attention that in the 11 months since Joe Biden declared war on rogue gun dealers, the ATF has revoked 273 federal firearms licenses, an increase of more than 500%. What is more disturbing is that rather than targeting the true rogues, Biden's ATF is revoking FFLs for the most minor of paperwork errors, which were never a concern for the ATF until Biden weaponized this agency. That leads to an important question. How does this administration and its executive branch agencies define the term willful? Furthermore, to what extent is this administration willing to interpret the term willful to capture conduct that falls far below the well-defined threshold in law? Based on the statute's wording, such minor typographical errors do not constitute grounds to revoke an FFL. In using the word willful, Congress clearly intended to exclude minor typographical errors as a basis to revoke a dealer's FFL. Black's Law Dictionary defines the term willful as follows: voluntary and intentional, but not necessarily malicious. A voluntary act becomes willful in law only when it involves conscious wrong or evil purpose on the part of the actor, or at least inexcusable carelessness, whether the act is right or wrong. Further, the word willful or willfully, when used in the definition of a crime, it has been said time and again, means only intentionally or purposely as distinguished from accidental or negligently. Courts have specifically applied this definition to 18 U.S.C. 923. A firearms dealer is considered to have acted willfully under 923 if, with knowledge of what the regulations require, the dealer repeatedly violates those regulations. The same standard is used in courts across the country. But Under this administration's policy, it is clear that the administration wanted to deem a mere negligent act to be willful such that a dealer's FFL would be denied, or worse, that a license would be revoked, resulting in the loss of American jobs and small family-owned businesses. The Biden-Harris administration claims this policy will increase public safety and reduce crime, but revoking a FFL over minor paperwork issues turns a teachable moment into the end of a dealer's livelihood. This new policy runs counter to the close working relationship firearm dealers have had with the ATF for decades. For example, the Firearms Industry Trade Association, National Shooting Sports Foundation, matches rewards ATF offers for information related to gun store robberies. NSSF and ATF have also worked together on Operation Secure Store, a program that provides FFLs with resources on how to better secure their physical storefronts. This collaboration makes FFLs comfortable reporting to ATF suspicious activity that may not rise to the level of a criminal offense. The new zero-tolerance policy threatens this long-standing partnership. Firearm dealers need to be comfortable sharing information with ATF without worrying about their FFL being revoked. Under the new zero-tolerance policy, FFLs have little incentive to voluntarily report crimes, especially if doing so threatens their license. As an example, consider an FFL that discovers one of its employees is participating in straw purchases or other unlawful transactions. With a collaborative relationship between FFLs and the ATF, the FFL can notify authorities and work with ATF to prosecute the crime. This arrangement promotes enforcement of the laws and the ATF's mission. But the zero-tolerance policy appears to impute on the employer liability for a low-level employee's actions, even though the employee's acts are illegal and thus outside the scope of employment. Because the Gun Control Act only imposes an affirmative duty to report the theft or loss of a firearm, the best course of action for an FFL may be to withhold the information and refuse to cooperate with an investigation. The executive branch has a duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, based on the original meaning of the statute Congress enacts. The Biden-Harris administration, however, believes its role is to rewrite the laws written by Congress to further its radical anti-constitutional agenda without consequence. We respectfully request that the administration immediately cease the misinterpretation of the word willful and resume with the interpretation that corresponds with the meaning of the word and the intent of Congress. By July 8th of 2022, provide the following information: the legal basis used to justify your interpretation of the word willful after the release of June 23, 2021's fact sheet. Any Department of Justice policy, guidance, fact sheet, or other similar document produced since June 23, 21 to implement the zero-tolerance policy described in the fact sheet, and any internal correspondence related to the release of the potential June 23, 21 zero-tolerance policy or to or from any political appointee at the DOJ, ATF, and or the White House, including but not limited to the White House Counsel's Office and the White House Domestic Policy Council. Any internal correspondence related to the policies announced in the June 23, 21 White House memo or to or from any political appointee of the DOJ, ATF, or the White House, including but not limited to the White House Counsel or the White House Domestic Policy Council. Any internal correspondence related to the interpretation of the word willful, to or from anybody, like I just mentioned above, the number of prosecutions under the Gun Control Act aided by tips or other information voluntarily provided by FFLs, the number of FFL revocation actions since June 23, 21, and for each FFL revocation action initiated since June 23, 21, identify the basis for each revocation without including personal identifiable information of the licensee. Again, 33 members of Congress. I will roll through the signatures here, and you can pause to see if your member of Congress is here. Now, I want to thank Greg Rock for sending this letter. For some reason, this letter snuck past me. I never even heard of it. Now, yes, the deadline has passed. Do I think Joe Biden has answered any of that? Absolutely not. In fact, I know that the FFLs are still feeling this way, and I know that they are still revocating licenses based off of a couple small clerical errors. So it hasn't changed yet. I will keep my eyes on this. I'll make a couple phone calls to follow up on this stuff here. And if you want to stay in the know, subscribe to the channel right down below. It's all you got to do is hit that button. Just click, hit that button. You help this channel grow. You help information continue to get out there. And also hit that bell icon, turn it on to all notifications, and then you will be made aware of when I put out new content or go live. So let me know what you think of this letter down below. I don't think Biden's going to stop off this letter. I really don't. And the fact that it's only 33 members of Congress and it's not 400 members of Congress says a lot. It says a lot. Also, good on Representative Budd for taking charge and getting this letter written and getting these other members of Congress to back the letter. And we need to see more of that, much more of that. So I'll keep up on this. Let me know what you think down below. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.